Hi, how are you? I know that after a holiday, many couples are on the rocks. They are in the end of their wits because on holiday time, you really spend time with each other and there is no distractions of everyday life. So you do not leave every morning to work and then come back in the evening and maybe some hobbies or kids running around and a different kind of hobby runs. But you are almost forced to spend time with each other, work together every day for the meals and for the decorations and for the overall program that you have on holidays. Whether it's summer holiday or Christmas holiday or some other holiday. But what to do if you realize that this is it? I'm fed up, or we fed up with each other's company. Well, first of all, I say it again, that no one can do this alone. So you are in this together. So if there is one person watching this video, urge the other one to watch it too. Then you know what you are talking about and then you know what I am talking about. I'm not a doctor or therapist, or I don't have this kind of expertise in this field. But I have been married, divorced, and remarried, and I have made myself alive now that I live in a happy relationship. But it wasn't always so. So I talk from experience. But let's start. First of all, sit down and think why you want to stay together. It sounds simple, but it's not. Take a pen and paper to every conversation that you have and write down what you think. So it may be that you are together because you have children together that are minors and you don't want that they have to go through divorce. There may be that your religion forbids divorces. It might be that your community doesn't allow it. So if you get divorced, you'll be outcast from in your community and you are maybe forced to move elsewhere and start all over again. And that may feel too much. Or you might have that kind of career that you cannot get divorced. It would be too much bad publicity. And at the same time, when you think what is your reason that you want to stay together or you have to stay together, is it like forever or is it just a temporary reason? Because kids grow up, we all know that, and careers tend to have their high peaks and then they will decline. So after the high peak, no one cares if you get divorced. And of course, when children are the issue that you do not want to get divorced, then you really have to work. Because there are so many adults that say that why didn't my parents divorce when I was young, but fight for 20 years and then get divorced when I moved out of the house? Why wouldn't they divorce before so I wouldn't have to live in the middle of a battlefield all the time? So be really careful and make your plans very solid. But now you have decided or talked about why you stay together. So you have reason that is common for both of you. You want that. And then there's a second phase. Think what works with you. So you as a couple, what is your unique strength? What's the one thing that you do well as a couple? Are you, for example, if it is a career that is keeping you together, then are you best when you are working together? Are you best in entertaining guests together? Are you best at promoting together? If you stay together for the community, are you a valuable asset to the community? Is it that you really enjoy each other's company in this certain function and then just nothing else works? So there is something that you benefit from this marriage, and there is something that you do better than others when you are together. And write that down, because that is quite a strength. Then we of course start to work on what's wrong. So think about, not together but separately. Take a time when you are not hungry or in a rush or emotionally somehow alert, and write down what's wrong. The individual things that are wrong, they may be all kinds of things, of course. Running around cheating, that is something that is very wrong and has to be stopped or has to be dealt with some other way. If it's, for example, that somebody comes in late to everything or doesn't do their part in the household, then how would they be resolved, these issues? Think about how you want to, what's the thing that is wrong, and how do you want to make that right? So, for example, if the other one doesn't take part for household work, what are the options to divide them more accurately so you have both your own tasks, or hire a cleaning lady, or not a cleaning person, I think that is nowadays like accurate meaning, but how can you resolve that? All the things that are wrong, list them down and make a suggestion how to do it right. If you have just one, that's okay. If you have 2 suggestions how to make it right, that's even better. But write them down, and write them down individually. Don't do this together, because then you are in a fight. And the whole purpose of thinking individually and making notes is that you are finding a solution. You are not fighting. It's not, I feel like this and you are always so dumb and you are always so lazy. That's not very constructive. So write down the wrongs and write down how you suggest that they would be made right. And then come together and read all of those and think how you can make them right. And at this point, try to remember that put down only those things that are real. This is not a competition who gets 10 wrongs. No. Put on the paper only those things that really annoy you every day. That are really not the deal breakers, but that annoy you every day. And they can be all kinds of things. And then come together and then start to look at those lists and maybe switch the papers and read each other's notes and think that how can you make these things better that your spouse feels are annoying on your behavior. Think about them really. And try to circle the solution that you are willing to commit to. And then, of course, try to make them real. Try to behave as you promise to behave. And whatever you do, remember the first thing. Why you want to stay together. Because in this world you don't have to. You just lose many other things if you get divorced. But remember why you are together, because that is the greater good, and these are just small suggestions. And if you get through that, and I truly hope so, or if there is something that you really cannot see eye to eye, then let it lie for a week or two and then get back to it. Make a note in your calendar, what day do you continue this discussion? And in between, try to act normally, politely. And that's another thing. When you decide that you want to stay together, but things aren't what they used to be, then adjust accordingly. So if it's just that you are not like in a honeymoon phase anymore, but this is a practical arrangement, then make a pack of that. So take your separate bedrooms if you like, and live as a friends. And do not try to be anything else. Just you are the unit that works to the common goal, and that's it. But of course, in this case, there are many times that people want very different things of a relationship. But if the other one doesn't want the same, then you have to find some kind of middle ground. And the middle ground cannot be like that kind of middle ground that one of you does something that they are really not comfortable with. Because that is not lasting. That will come to an end pretty soon. And then think about the relationship in a new way. Totally new way. So make each other's lives easier. Give each other space. So don't be asking too much. Don't be bullying too much. Don't be making comments, negative comments. That's something that couples that are past their prime often do. They say mean things, like it wouldn't be noticed, but it always is. Are you taking more food? Do you think that you could exercise more? Have you noticed that you are gaining weight? Have you noticed that your hair is getting thinner? Why don't you go to a hairdresser because you look like that? Can't you get something more presentable to dress in? Forget all that. Why do you do that? Why do you always say that? Why do you always do that? You are like that. You are just like your father. You are just like my mother. Stop all that. If you are in this business together, then treat each other like you are in this together. There is no use that one of you gets like bullied all the time. It doesn't work that way. You cannot get off the rocks that you are in. Work together. And forget the jealousy. Make the pact that neither one of you runs around. You have to respect each other. And forget the jealousy. So no questions. Who are you talking to? Where did you go? Who did you meet? If it's a daily conversation, who did you meet today, honey? Who did you have lunch with? Did you have an interesting conversations? Yes, but not like jealousy-based questions. You know what I mean. Those are much more like confronting. If I have to like recap somehow all these things that I talked about, I would say that, well, first of all, sit down and talk about it. Yes, we are on rocks. We are in trouble. This is not going to last. We are both unhappy. Second, think why you want to stay together. What's the reason? And think about, is that reason common for you? Usually it is. If it's not common for you, then go your separate ways. There is no reason to stay together if you do not have a common cause. And then think about yourselves as a team. This is what we want to do, and we are willing to let go many things to make this happen. And if it's temporary solution, that's much more easier. But if it's a permanent, then you just have to hang on a little bit longer. Then think what you are good at. What's the reason? What's the, that 1 + 1 is more than 2 in people working together means. Think about what's your special force when you are together. What are you good at? And then start the ugly part. Write down what's wrong and write down solution. Then go through these notes together and think, what solution are you willing to take? And last but not least, focus again and recalibrate your behavior. So you are in this business together. So respect one another. Give each other space. Define again how you are together, what you are. Are you a married couple, an intimate couple, or are you just friends or colleagues that do these things and live in the same quarters? Stop jealousy and stop all mean talk. Think how you would talk to your, for example, if you are in customer service or for example, a specialist of some kind. You know how you talk to your clients. You don't say them one nasty thing, but you are firm and you're truthful. So that's the way to speak to the other half in this situation. So that was my take on how to survive if you realize that you are really on rocks. I hope you have a great day, and I see you soon. Goodbye.